Good afternoon, welcome to Berlin, the city with more bridges than Venice, but it's a very different kind of bridge we're interested in today. We're about to decide the remaining 4 quarter-final places here at the German Masters. It's sink or swim for 8 more of the world's best players. It's one of the best days in the snooker calendar. An afternoon of second-round action, followed by all 4 quarter-finals at once tonight. So while 3.5 million Germans bustle around Berlin, we welcome in the hush and spontaneous applause of the Temperdome. And we are all set to go with our featured game in the main table this afternoon. 2015 World Champion Stuart Bingham, who's been knocking on the door all season of another ranking win, against David Gilbert, the spectacularly named Angry Farmer. What a nickname. He'll be looking to reach his second ranking quarter-final of the season. Unbelievable. A long weekend of quality snooker at one of our favourite venues on the planet. Mainly thanks to these guys, the German snooker fans are unbelievable. They're here first thing in the morning, hanging out with us, and they fill the Temperdome. And it has to be said, Jimmy White, Ronnie O'Sullivan and Neil Foulds, we have been spoilt this week. You're like kids in a playground with their featured matches.
Great snooker, a couple of easy wins in the afternoon, but 2 late-night dramas. Of course, Ronnie came out on the wrong side on the first day, and we saw a good one last night. Ali Carter beating a young player, the future world champion. Sorry, Ronnie, it's the truth, mate.
We've also seen, Jimmy, a couple of really superlative whitewashes live, haven't we? Martin Gould, the defending champion, got us started. Selby was just prolific yesterday.
Yeah, Noon was really bad against Selby, but Selby's, like, as usual, the ultimate professional, done his job, you know, didn't even break sweat. And Martin Gould's not really done anything this season since he won here last year. And he said to me and Ronnie after last year that, you know, he thinks it's going to be like buses. They're going to come 2 or 3 at a time, tournaments, but it hasn't happened for him so far. So hopefully for him, this tournament might give him the edge to go through further.
Yep, be more like Southern Rail. Well, listen, let's have a little look at the draw as it stands right now and bring everybody up to date. The top half of the draw is complete to the quarter-final stage. The defending champion takes on Ryan Day, who's our only Welshman into the quarter-finals. It's Tom Ford, who had a 147 in his first round and knocked out Mark King yesterday against Ali Carter. They went all the way against the young Chinese wonderkid Zhao Xingtong live last night on Eurosport 1. So it's that second half of the draw we're concentrating on this afternoon. And even though our featured game, which we'll get to in a minute or two from now, Stuart Bingham against David Gilbert, there's a story in all of these games. I mean, Mark Selby, the world #1, the reigning world champion, the UK champion Ronnie O'Sullivan, but Anthony Hamilton's way too long in the tooth to be fazed by that.
I think Anthony is capable of giving him a really good game today, because I think he's a great scorer, he's very clinical, and if he's on, he can play as high as anybody can, the high level that anyone can play in the game. And that's the type of snooker you're going to need to play to beat Selby. You're not going to beat Selby in a tactical battle, and that's not what Hamilton's good at. He's decent, but not as good as Selby. But in scoring and break building and positional play, I've never practiced with anyone better. So if you can bring that to the match table, then that could be a good game.
There's a story in every single one of the 4 games today, Neil. I think I know Barry Hawkins maybe suffers from being so nice and so unassuming that we don't talk about him as much as we should. But he takes on Ben Williston today, who'll be high in confidence after knocking out the Thunder from down under.
Yeah, I think when are people going to start to really appreciate what a good player Hawkins is? I mean, the players do, but he's someone that slips under the radar continually. As for Ben Williston, you know, he spends all his time with Mark Selby from Leicester, hotbed of the game, and all of those cliches. Maybe it's starting to rub off, you know, because he has got a title in him. He's a very good player.
And you could add any of these 4 games as a featured game. I mean, even if you look at, you know, Michael Holt will be eyeing this up. Could be a big breakthrough weekend for him. But he's got another young Chinese hotshot in Yang Bingtao to contend with.
Bingtao is one of the 3 young Chinese boys that we all tip to go really well in this game and win tournaments. But Michael Holt has been working with Griffiths for, I think it's his 2nd season now. And it was always his temperament that was a problem, and his temperament's in a good place now, and he's got the game. So, but Bingtao's a big match for him, but Michael Holt can win the tournament.
I think also with Bingtao, his ferrules come loose, so when he's hitting the ball, it's making a noise. They've tried to glue it together just before, so they've got a guy coming in, if he gets through this match, to try and put it on properly, so it's up against him with that sort of thing.
He's got that to contend with.
Yeah, but I was watching him on a practice table, and that kid's got it all, mate. Honestly, he hits the ball so well.
Well, I tell you what, based on what Ronnie said, well, maybe I'll have a wee quid on him, because he's the ranked outsider as it stands at the moment, where the players are left in. No surprise to see Selby as favourite, but bearing in mind, of course, he's still got to win a second-round match, so it goes to show how much the bookies fancy him now.
Yes, an odd sort of stage of the tournament. There's 12 players left in it, of which Mark Selby's a round behind, but he's such a big winner that people think that he's still the man to beat at 7-4. I don't know if there's any great value in that, because, as I say, he's still got to beat Hamilton, who, to be honest, he's in the draw, and he's one of the great mysteries of the game is how he's never won a ranking tournament. So it's not an easy game. I don't think that's particularly good value. You might be seeing value somewhere else in the draw.
Well, I think that backs up what we've been saying about Barry Hawkins, always underrated, has to be said. But remember, this is the tournament that nobody has won twice. So maybe Tom Ford at 25 to 1 or something like that. It was Martin Gould last year. Let's dream big, Ronnie.
Absolutely, and I don't count any of these out, but Martin Gould's a proven winner. Won here last year, likes the venue. And he you know, I think the top half is a little bit more favourable. You know, he hasn't got to play Hawkins, hasn't got to play Selby. You know, so he'll be fancying it, but he's the type of guy that won't fancy it too much. He goes out there and he stays focused. He does the job, and I love that about Goldie. He doesn't ever get ahead of himself.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got Stuart Bingham against David Gilbert in the feature table, and it was Stuart who talked to Eurosport first.
Stuart, your form this season has been some good, some bad. Still, no trophies lifted. How do you see it?
Yeah, it sort of started off so-so. A bit of a purple patch, sort of 5 or 6 tournaments. But I've sort of slowly gone off the ball a bit. I missed Northern Ireland, and since then I've been probably struggling to string a few results together. I've obviously won a couple of matches here and there, but nothing to like a semi-final or final, say, since sort of November time. So, yeah, it's a bit of a mixed bag, really.
Missing tournaments is not really something you like doing, but the schedule is so tough that it's always going to have to be done sometimes. And as you say, you were very consistent for a period of time. Why is it that players lose their form? And it's not for the lack of trying, is it?
Yeah, I was trying to put my finger on it. I got on a bit of a wave, and I just sort of turn up tournaments and say before I knew I was in the quarterfinals or semi-finals. I suppose having that week off, I'd sort of then decided to have a bit of a practice, tried to keep it going, and probably working on stuff that didn't need to work on, and you start thinking about your correction and stuff like that. So that's probably not a good part of it.
It's not very good when you think too much about what you're doing. It's best when you're not. I know that myself. However, you've got a world title on your CV, but nothing particularly impressive here at the Tempodrome. It's not a venue you've excelled at. No,
you'd probably say I found it today that I sort of start looking about and what's the other games instead of my own. Yeah, sort of started off well, 4-0, and then say let him come back into it. But yeah, I've never got past the last 16 here, so hopefully I can go a few steps further.
Your opponent in the last 16, David Gilbert, a player, looking at your record against him, is almost immaculate. You've beaten him 7 out of 7, from what I can see.
Yeah, the last couple, I remember playing him in Shanghai. It was sort of a good game, and I got the better of him 5-2. And you could sort of see it on a player sometimes when you've got their number. You can see they don't fancy it, and Dave's such a good player. So it's got to go sooner or later, but hopefully not tomorrow.
Not exactly mastermind, is he?
Well, we'll get to the match-up in a second, but most players would bite your hand off for a couple of finals, 3 semi-finals in ranking tournaments in a row in a season. But as 2015 world champion, Jimmy, there's a different type of pressure, really, in Stuart Bingham, certainly in terms of ranking points.
Yeah, he's a late developer. You know, he won the World Championships and he started to win tournaments. And, you know, a few semi-finals and a couple of finals this year. No, it's still good going because the game, there's so many good players.
OK, well, listen, let's deal with David Gilbert. He's been catching up as well with Eurosport. Neil sat down with him to gauge his thoughts.
David, you threw it the last 16 to play Stuart Bingham. Before we get to that, what a great win against Marco, Phil, because he's been the man of the moment for the last couple of months. You must be delighted with that victory.
Yeah, no, really happy to win, obviously. Marco's been the form man. He really didn't play well at all today. I was quite lucky I got him on a bad day. I didn't play that great, to be honest, but no, it's a great win for me.
You've been around a long time. People may not realise that. I remember even practising with you once in West London in that club. And you're a better player now, would you say, than then? You've always been talented.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely a better player now. I think I always had ability, but I never really had the dedication, and certainly, you know, I've been a bit of a headbanger over the years. You know, the games can send you mad if you let it, you know, but just trying to enjoy playing more, and I definitely work a lot harder than I've ever done.
Now, on to your opponent, Stuart Bingham. I have to say the head-to-heads are not promising, but you start off 0-0 in this match, so I guess it doesn't mean the world.
Yeah, no, obviously, I don't know if I've ever beaten Stuart as a pro. I don't think I have. It's a pretty poor record, but obviously he's a great player. I think that I have actually beat him. It was in a pro-am at Willie Thorne's back in the day when I was about 15, so I have got one win to my name, so hopefully I can scrape one tomorrow.
What about the atmosphere in the Temperdome? Are you enjoying it?
Oh, yeah, no, it's a brilliant venue. Just hope I can play well and show what I can do, you know, get some results. No, it's a brilliant venue, definitely one of the best for the season.
Well, maybe this is the time for David Gilbert to break his duck. Guys, when you started your career, was there one player that you just couldn't get over the line against, Neil?
Well, I mean, it's not a great shock. Steve Davis, it took me a long time to beat him. In the end, I managed to beat him a few times, but not as many as the other way round. He was a bogey player for not just me, but a lot of others.
Same for you, Jimmy?
Same for me, yeah. He used to bore me to death.
And what about you, Ronnie? Who was the player that you had a record like this against at the start of your career?
No one.
Excellent stuff. That's what we want to hear. Well, listen, there are two players that are certainly late bloomers. Stuart more than David, but 7 meetings so far. David Gilbert yet to get the big W. Maybe it is going to be this afternoon. We haven't had a single stinker yet on our feature table. We're not going to start now. The Temperdome is ready for Stuart Bingham against David Gilbert. So do stay with us. The first 4 frames are live on your Gogglebox next. So here's the 3 other tables coming out at the moment. Michael Holt taking on Yang Bing Tao. Barry Hawkins coming out against Ben Williston. Anthony Hamilton against Mark Selby. They'll take the outside tables. We'll keep you up to date on the scores of that the whole way through this afternoon. On our main table, of course, is Stuart Bingham against David Gilbert. And, you know, both players in their 20s weren't making any headlines. They weren't pulling up any trees. So maybe David Gilbert, Jimmy, can use Stuart Bingham as a little bit of inspiration.
Well, absolutely. And also, you know, if he has a good run here and he has a good run in the Grand Prix, there's a possible chance he can get in the top 16. So he's got everything to play for. But being 7-0 down in a record against someone, that is on your mind. He does need to break that duck.
What type of style are we expecting this afternoon from both players? How do they match up, Ronnie?
I think they're both really good scorers. I think Dave Gilbert's a fantastic cueist, and, you know, he'll be fluent amongst the balls. Bingham, once he gets going, he's the same as well. So I think they're 2 really good players to watch, and hopefully they can both play well, and we could be in for a really, really good match. But I expect one of them to play well.
Well, there they are in the shadows of the Temperdome. Wonderful venue. Rolf is the Rob Walker of the German Masters. He's introducing them and getting them into the arena. And even though, you know, let's face it, it's Friday afternoon here in Germany. A lot of people have got to go and work. You know, they don't have a choice to come to the snooker. But the crowds, despite that, have been really healthy in the afternoon all week. They make one heck of a noise as well. Such a pleasure to cover it. We hope you're enjoying it. Do stay with us all weekend. It's quarter-final night tonight. We'll have that live for you from about 6:45. Then we're back with the semi-finals all Saturday afternoon into the evening, and the big final on is Sunday. Selby would be the bookies' favourite at the moment, but this is the tournament that nobody wins twice, so anything can happen. Let's get their commentary box for the first 4 frames of this one. Working on the side from morning till night, it's Mike Hallett and Dave Hendon.